Are you afraid of using Nosodes in your clinical practice? Or have you been told that Nosodes should not be used in the lower dilutions? Or probably Nosodes are used as intercurrents only? These are some of the most common misconceptions related to usage of Nosodes in homeopathic clinical practice. Hi friends, I am Dr. Saurav Arora, and in today's talk we are going to discuss about Nosodes. We are going to discuss about Nosodes, their history, the misconceptions, the confusion, the challenges, and the controversy. We are going to discuss the outcomes of a survey which was published in the year 2015 related to the clinical usage of Nosodes in homeopathic clinical practice. But before moving further, let us try to rewind and revisit our own concepts of Nosodes in homeopathy. If you go by the definition, Nosodes are prepared from the disease material, but they are rendered safe by the process called potentization. It means they are subjected to the same method that is used to prepare medicines from the minerals, from the sources which are inert or are poisonous in their nature. Once they are potentized, once they surpasses the Avogadro's constant, don't you think that they should be given the same respect as any other homeopathic remedy? Why a demarcation that Nosode is different? If we go back to the history, Nosodes were earliest experimented by Constantine Hering in the year 1827 when he was in South America, and he decided to potentize these disease material and use it for the benefit of homeopathy and mankind. And he succeeded in that. From that time till today, we have explored, experimented on Nosodes. We have contributed to a greater symptomatology. We have huge contributions from the legendary homeopaths when it comes to Nosodes. In our Materia Medica, you may find more than 150 Nosodes mentioned here and there, but why only a few Nosodes are part of the official homeopathic pharmacopoeias? Now, one probable explanation to this can be because they are procured from the disease product. The standardization of the original material and preservation is a challenge. So, for those Nosodes who overcome these challenges and they were thoroughly proved, clinically verified, used, they found a place in the homeopathic pharmacopoeia. But there are still many Nosodes, those who are mentioned in the history but have never been included in the official Materia Medicas and pharmacopoeias. Moving further, Nosodes are an inseparable and important part of our homeopathic clinical practice. Our homeopathic practice is incomplete without them. We use these Nosodes in different use cases, may it be acute or chronic or anti-miasmatic or intercurrent, or just to remove the tendencies. But still, we have been told to use them with caution. Yes, caution is important, but that caution based on the preconceived notions is not right. The usage of Nosode is associated with the background knowledge, with the experience, with the experiment, and preconceived notion of the physicians. Just remember the day you have been told don't use homeopathic Nosodes in low potencies. Why? I agree if they might have had an aggravation with the Nosode, but don't you think that mild aggravation is a part of the homeopathic philosophy? So the point is that we need to be open-minded when we use Nosodes. So I'm going to discuss the key findings of the survey which was undertaken and which was published in the year 2015 regarding how physicians are using Nosodes and how they are adapting the usage of Nosode in the actual clinical practice. And I think the result would also be of interest to you, that how people are preaching and how we are using the Nosodes. So this was a structured survey having 13 multiple choice question and 2 open-ended question. Close to 200 physicians opted to contribute their own understanding of Nosodes. I would like to read here the results in that. So when they were asked that how frequently do you prescribe Nosodes in your routine clinical practice, and it was found that 78% of the physicians are using Nosodes frequently in their homeopathic clinical practice. It means they are not afraid of using Nosodes. Around 70% of physicians were using the Nosodes in 201 M potency, that's quite common potencies, but there were physicians who were using the Nosode in low potency, around 8%, and in any potency around 15%. So if you combine these two, then 23% of the physicians were using Nosode in the commonest potency available with them, including 30C. So when we are told that do not use nosodes in the low dilution, I think we should be clarified what the lower dilution means. Moving further, when they were asked how frequently they are using nosodes in repetition, so 35% of the respondent opined that they are using nosodes in repeated doses. And 65% of the respondents said they are using nosodes in single dose only. This is a common practice we all undertake, using nosodes in single doses or repeating whenever necessary. So there are physicians, those who are open to using or repeating these nosodes in their practice. Further connected to this question, they were asked that if repeated, what is the frequency of the repetition? In homeopathic philosophy, the dose and repetition are two most important aspects of a clinical outcome. 68% of the physicians opined that they use single dose and repeat if necessary. So it means they were repeating as and when required or as per the need of the case. So surprisingly, in 32% of the respondents' opinion, they were used as either daily, weekly or monthly doses. Now this is again a common practice with nosode, that we give nosode to reduce the tendencies of certain particular diseases, and we use them in infrequent repetition, maybe a daily repetition of a nosode or a weekly or a monthly dose. Moving further, when they were asked what was the use case of nosodes for them, around 14% of the respondents said they are using these nosode as constitutional treatment. So they were not using them only for intercurrent, antimiasmatic or acute remedy. They were using it as a constitutional treatment. Majority of them, 72% of them, they were using nosode as per the need of the case. So if you combine the constitutional and as need, majority of the practitioners in core clinical practice are actually utilizing the goodness of nosodes. Moving further, when they were asked about the most suited dispensing method, so in almost 68% of the respondents, they were using the globules or milk or sugar to dispense these nosode. Coming to an important part, they were asked about what is the status of aggravation, because we have been told that do not repeat nosode for undue aggravation. Is there any aggravation associated? Yes. Almost 63% of the respondents said that there is an associated aggravation. But the point to learn is that this aggravation was either mild or moderate in nature. It was a transient aggravation just like any other homeopathic remedy, but because we are more observant in cases of nosode, we tend to observe these aggravation more than in our routine remedies. So this is one of the misconceptions we have, that we will give nosode and there would be an undue aggravation which we won't be able to handle. They were also asked about, do they support the usage of nosodes in repeated doses? Yes. 15% of them said there is no harm, but 22% said that it should not be repeated, it should not be done. But 63% of the respondents were not of any opinion. They said it may be if there is a need. Now, this is another clarification of the misconception, what is being taught and what is being practiced. Again, one more aspect, that nosode should not be used in any particular age group. So they were asked about the utility of nosodes in age groups. So it was surprising to find that 90% of the respondents said that it can be used in any age group without any problem. Be it a toddler or an infant or an elderly, these nosodes are safe to use because these are just like any other homeopathic high dilution. Majority of the respondents were using 5 to 10 nosodes in their own clinical practice. But since this survey had only limited number of respondents, a generalization could not be made. This is a challenge, but I think this is the start point of a research. This survey is old. Why not to take a fresh survey? Why not you drop in your comments regarding the usage of nosodes in your clinical practice? Are you afraid of using nosodes? Are you being misinformed, or do you have misconception regarding the usage of nosodes in homeopathy? Because what I found that nosodes are being used on the belief system rather than an informed system. We are still carrying on the legacy statement that they should not be used or they should be used with caution. Yes, these statements are important, but they should not be a hindrance in our usage of the nosodes in the homeopathic practice. So with this note, we'll come again with one more question, with one more answer. Till then, keep exploring, because homeopathy works.